This is now known around the league. And it's telling if DeWanna Bonner says she chose the Fever over the Lynx and Mercury to win.
Minnesota Lynx fans, get ready for some surprising news. Cheryl Reeve thought she had a deal almost done with DeWanna Bonner. The contract was nearly finalized, and a press conference seemed like it was just around the corner. But out of nowhere, the Indiana Fever came in and snatched Bonner away. This wasn't just a missed opportunity for the Lynx, they lost the key player they were counting on for their entire off-season plan. Cheryl Reeve is understandably upset that DeWanna Bonner chose Caitlin Clark and the Fever over Minnesota.
But the Lynx were there. So, to choose the Fever over them is saying something. And I think all of those players choosing the Fever said all you needed to know.
Here's the twist, Bonner had been dropping hints for months. Remember when she openly talked about wanting to win right away, or how she didn't seem too bothered when the Phoenix Mercury traded for her fiancée, Alyssa Thomas? The signs were there, clear as day, but Minnesota missed them. They thought they had everything locked down, but while Cheryl Reeve was playing it safe, Bonner was thinking several steps ahead.
I'm glad that this really worked out because this almost turned really ugly for the WNBA, man. You talking about Nafisa Collier being on a revenge tour. That was definitely going to be a revenge tour worth watching, man, because they were going to mop the...
This wasn't just a last-minute decision, it was a carefully thought-out plan that had been building for months. The Lynx were so sure they had Bonner that they were already thinking about jersey numbers. They saw her as the missing piece to bring them back to championship glory, imagining her playing alongside Nafisa Collier and Kayla McBride. The front office was already picturing victory parades through downtown Minneapolis, celebrating what they believed would be their next title run. To show just how committed they were, Minnesota even considered trading for Alyssa Thomas, Bonner's fiancée, to make the deal more appealing. It was like buying someone a house before their first anniversary, risky, desperate, and ultimately unnecessary.
The Lynx also explored trading for Thomas, league sources told The Athletic, and looked at signing her fiancé and former Sun teammate DeWanna Bonner.
While Reeve and the Lynx made their plans known loud and clear, Indiana took a different approach. They didn't make any noise or flashy moves. Instead, they quietly built strong relationships behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Minnesota was busy creating a big spectacle of their pursuit, but Indiana played the long game, staying calm and strategic. They let Reeve think she had everything under control while secretly positioning themselves for the perfect moment. Then, out of nowhere, something unexpected happened. Bonner turned down Minnesota's offer and chose to join Caitlin Clark in Indiana. The Lynx were left stunned, and Reeve was furious. What was supposed to be their big off-season win slipped away, leaving them in a state of panic and frustration. It was a tough reminder of how unpredictable professional basketball can be.
Now, thinking of the Lynx, man, that would be a disgusting team if she ended up going to the Lynx, man. Can you imagine Alyssa Thomas going to the Lynx, allowing Nafisa Collier to play the 4, and then you even have Bonner there as well? Like, dog, that is...
Danielle Bonner played Cheryl Reeve and the Lynx front office like a finely tuned instrument, and they never saw it coming. What's even more surprising is that Bonner had been dropping hints about her true intentions for months, yet no one in Minnesota picked up on them. The signs were clear, but they didn't notice. Take last season's WNBA All-Star Game, for example. Photos surfaced of Bonner in deep conversation with Caitlin Clark. These weren't just casual chats, they hinted at something more serious developing. While everyone assumed Minnesota was the favorite to land Bonner, she was quietly building a future with Clark in Indiana. The Lynx were completely caught off guard, and it showed how important it is to read between the lines in such a competitive environment. In the end, Bonner's careful planning left Minnesota scrambling, forcing them to rethink their entire strategy.
All-Star Game. Now, there's certain pictures coming around, floating around online of Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner at the All-Star Game, chopping it up, kind of insinuating, not saying that this facts, that this whole situation kind of could have been in the works already.
This wasn't a sudden change of heart, it was a move that had been carefully planned for months. Bonner let Minnesota believe they had the upper hand, all while she had already committed herself to the Fever's vision long before free agency even started. While Reeve and her team were busy working on their championship plans, Bonner was quietly aligning herself with Indiana's long-term goals. Her careful preparation showed just how much foresight she had and her belief in the Fever's potential.
Most of the teams do realize that is about to happen, so they are strengthening up their roster And that move right there would have been crazy, fam. That would have been a crazy move. Having Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner on the Lynx, that would have been unfair because then you have Fee and then you have McBride. Oh my goodness.
Let's talk about Phoenix for a moment. They thought they had it all locked down. The Mercury made what they thought was a bold move by trading for Alyssa Thomas, Bonner's fiancée, thinking it would sway Bonner's decision. Their front office must have felt pretty confident, believing there was no way she would turn them down after bringing in her partner. But reality hit hard. Bonner didn't just decline their offer, she wasn't even tempted. Phoenix's big plan fell apart, leaving them stunned and struggling to understand how they misjudged the situation so badly.
Now, from the jump, I felt like Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner was going to be that other couple that always stayed together. But, DeWanna Bonner pulled a rabbit out of the hat on me, man, and said, hey, I'm going in the end.
Minnesota, on the other hand, thought they were the perfect fit for Bonner. With a rich championship history, an experienced coach in Cheryl Reeve, and a talented roster ready to compete right away, they seemed to offer everything a 37-year-old veteran might want as she aimed for one last ring before retirement. But Bonner had a different vision, one that both Minnesota and Phoenix missed. In her statement after signing with Indiana, she didn't talk about joining a powerhouse. Instead, she expressed excitement about being part of an organization that was on the rise and committed to advancing women's basketball. This wasn't just a clever marketing move, it showed the wisdom of a veteran who could spot real potential. While others saw Indiana as a team still building, Bonner recognized a chance to help create something truly special. Now, she's ready to take that journey and build something extraordinary with the Fever.
Now, I wonder what the other factors were. I mean, going to the Lynx is definitely a win right now situation. It's mainly the other factors that made her go to the Indiana.
The Indiana Fever have gone from being a WNBA afterthought to the hottest ticket in town. J.N. Kell Jones's decision to sign with Indiana was more than just a typical free agent move, it was a bold declaration. She wasn't looking for an easy championship. Instead, she aimed to revive a struggling franchise and bring it back to powerhouse status. Bonner made it clear that her journey toward greatness starts now. What stands out most about her decision is that she didn't just want to compete with Indiana, she specifically focused on making the team championship caliber again. This wasn't about joining an already established contender like Minnesota or Phoenix, it was about building a dynasty from the ground up. Bonner is determined to leave a lasting impact on a team that's been overlooked for years, and she's ready to lead Indiana through this exciting transformation.
With that move right here, she's basically saying, I want to play in front of sold out crowds. I want to get that popularity popping. I want people to sell out my jersey.
Here's where it gets even more interesting. According to The Athletic *, Bonner's top priority was winning right away, which suggests she truly believes Indiana offers her a better shot at a championship than Minnesota or Phoenix. At first, this might sound surprising, but when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. Indiana isn't just a rebuilding team, they've got something special in Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. The Fever have one of the most exciting young duos in basketball, two generational talents who work perfectly together and have the potential to dominate the WNBA for years to come. Bonner saw this opportunity. By joining forces with Clark and Boston, she's in the perfect position to ride the wave of their rising potential. This move not only boosts her chances of winning but also places her in a pivotal role in shaping the future of the franchise.
Now, I knew Alyssa Thomas wasn't going to ever think about going to the Indiana Fever the way she was talking about the fan base at the end of the season. But yeah, man, DeWanna Bonner, man, said, look, forget what you're talking about. I'm about to take my talents to Indiana. I don't care how you feel about the organization.
For years, it was assumed that veterans preferred joining already established championship teams. Bonner turned that idea on its head, proving she's thinking several steps ahead. She understands that the real power move is teaming up with a future super team before anyone else sees its full potential. Instead of just looking at Indiana's current roster, she saw the future of women's basketball unfolding right before her eyes, a vision that many in the league hadn't yet recognized. By aligning herself with this promising foundation, Bonner is positioning herself to lead the charge into a new era of the sport.
If this happens, I believe the Indiana Fever are going to be one of the best running gun teams you've ever seen in the WNBA. And that goes back to me saying that Caitlin Clark is still going to average 20 points, I feel, and be able to get those assists.
What's truly incredible is how the Indiana Fever, once the laughingstock of the league, have now become the most sought-after destination in the WNBA. Remember all those jokes about Fever fans? Those tweets aren't aging well, like milk left out in the sun on a hot July day. Indiana's struggles weren't just a short-lived slump, they endured nearly a decade of being irrelevant, consistently failing to attract top-tier talent despite having the financial resources. The WNBA landscape seemed to favor larger markets. Players flocked to the glitz of New York, the championship pedigree of Minnesota, or the allure of Las Vegas. Indiana was seen as a place where careers went to fade, not thrive. But now, everything has changed. With rising stars and a bright future, the Fever have become a symbol of opportunity, flipping the script and challenging old assumptions. This transformation is nothing short of extraordinary.
So Indiana Fever star DeWanna Bonner turned down 2 elite teams in free agency for a powerful season. Because I'm telling you right now, bro, no disrespect to the Mercury or the Lynx, but I don't see them going all the. I mean, I see Indiana having more of a future. You know what I'm saying? Than a lot of these other teams, like their future look good, bro. And it's like, why not be a part of history?